responsive.
They're very up on the current fashion trends, probably on TikTok.
Yeah. Yep.
Imagine like a metal golem just like scrolling on the phone.
Yeah.
This is what's in right now.
Hello, welcome to the Tabletop Travel Guide, the podcast where we explore fictional worlds and civilizations right from the comfort of our own table. I'm Ryan, and this week I did not have a session, and I instead furiously prepped hex maps and unit tokens for the impending final battle.
Yes, you sent me those, and I was interested in both making sure that Cheliax was correctly powerful and wondering how many children we had.
You will get multiple units of child soldiers. They have questionable combat effectiveness, but
They were level 0.
You guys can just, probably CR -1 if we're being honest. But
this campaign, we're definitely not the good guys.
You guys can decide if you even want to use them or not,
That's
but you
fair.
have them in your repertoire. Sam is giving me a very
This
questionable
bums me
look.
out. I don't remember talking about child soldiers.
I mean, you put out the call for the crusade and
That's
everyone answered.
And that's who answered? Oh, boy. Ooh, I'm Sam, and I don't think I had any sessions this week.
You ran a session.
Oh my gosh, I ran a session this week. Oh, that's right, I did. And I learned some valuable GM lessons. When you have someone who's missing and you have given the party a big creature, they will kill it eventually. They might get very frustrated along the way.
Yep.
So, gotta work on scaling, but it's fine. No one died.
No one
Oh,
died.
good.
And I'm Tyler, and I learned that an oscillating wave psychic who alternates between fire and cold can get real frustrating when your enemy has fire resistance.
50% of the time, I'm worthless.
Yes, you're like, oh no. But it's okay. We got there.
Good.
Yeah.
So, Tyler, I think last week, we probably mispronounced something, but I went back through and I couldn't really nail anything specific.
Yeah. Feel free to let us know if we missed anything. But I think for the most part, we did pretty solid.
Or we just completely said it 6 different ways and kind of sent
we
it
covered
like
our
One
bases.
of them was correct.
Accurate. Yeah. So today we are continuing our mini-series about the planes. Sam was originally going to kind of take us through, but I decided, hey, we did some vacations, we did some cruising last time, and this time it's time to get back to work, guys.
Oh no.
So
The fun died with me.
Oh no. Oh no.
So this is going to be another 2-parter. We'll release episode 1, this week, and then next week you'll see episode 2. So before we get into the inner sphere, since we just talked about the outer sphere, we are going to talk about the characters you have brought with us on this journey today. So who would like to go first?
Go ahead, Sam.
All right. I am obviously very attached to this character, so if you murder us immediately, I will be sad, but understand. All right, so I have brought today Lucine Hayes. She goes by Lucy.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
She is a druid and a scholar of nature. She is a familiar who is a leshy
Yay.
and adorable. If you don't know
Aw.
what a leshy is, please go look them up. They're
They're like
very
little plant
cute.
creatures.
Yes, little tiny plant that goes around and does things with her. Her goals in life are to learn a lot about plants and nature and to document those things, maybe do some conservation on the side. Yeah, so she's just rolling around with her familiar, doing nature stuff.
Oh no. Boy, this is awkward.
Oh,
Did
no.
Ryan bring someone who wants to burn down the forest?
I did.
Ryan!
So once again, we did not talk before prepping these. I brought Vistan Aritis, who is an elven druid from the desert, who wants
dear.
to burn down all the forests and make everything a desert.
Seriously?
I'm dead serious. I didn't take a familiar because I thought that was too nice. I just want to burn down all the woods. I want to make the world a desert.
Oh
Well,
my
it's
gosh.
funny
Chaotic
when we
evil.
don't plan at all.
So hopefully we're on different work shifts or whatever we're doing.
Yeah, so you guys have both been handpicked to be consultants for a company. And this company is called ISI, or Inner Sphere Industries.
Inner Sphere Industries. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know if I like industry or not. Industry seems the opposite of trees.
It's fine.
I might be all about this, actually.
You might be all about this. So you guys are going to be planar consultants. You are getting plucked to come into a company that is just had a big shakeup. And your goal will be to determine where to best provide your services and your expertise to help bring this company back on the map.
Oh, okay. It's a comeback story.
It's a comeback story.
Okay.
While we're traveling on the way to ISI, I'm going to give you a bit of a history of the planes,
Okay.
the inner sphere, and how it got to where it is today. Sound good?
I don't think we have a choice, but let's go.
Yes.
I'm still nervous about traveling here with Ryan, who might try to burn me down or murder my Leshy.
There's like a non-zero chance my character would try to like light her Leshy on fire in the bus. Like on the trip over.
You guys are on different sections of the bus, and sure.
That probably makes sense. That might be in a cage, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Oh.
So last week we talked about the outer sphere. And unlike the outer sphere, which each plane kind of borders the maelstrom in some form, the inner sphere is different in that all the planes are kind of stacked. If you think of it like almost kind of like a jawbreaker, where you have your inner sphere and every layer is a different sphere. Or is a different plane. While you can easily plane shift to each plane, you can also just make it to the end of a plane, find the border, and then walk to the next one. Or swim to the next one. Or burrow to the next one, depending. This is why I've kind of likened this today to a building, an office building.
So corporate.
So corporate. You can tell I work in corporate.
So corporate.
So corporate. Like an office building, each floor is going to be its own plane, and the stairwells are the borderlands in between each. So you can go directly there via the elevator or plane shift, elevator shift, or you can walk to the end of the plane, hit the stairwell, walk to the next one.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm glad this company is ADA compliant.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, we still want to make sure we're following all safety laws. This company has been in business for eons, far before the material plane, now called the universe, even existed. ISI was churning along smoothly. There was an elemental cycle. We'll talk more about that next time of how that all worked.
Okay.
But everything was in balance. Each department or plane had its own pair of elemental lords or department heads. They worked in balance. They were in equilibrium. They might have countered each other, had different ideas, but everything was perfect and in balance. The building was great. Business was booming. And then the universe and the first world decided to show up and start blossoming. ISI decided their currently employee-owned lobby and garden area was now going to be open to the public.
I feel like my pension's going to go away somewhere.
Somehow we get the short end of the stick.
As mortals and the public started intermingling and using the planar elements and being able to use the outputs of ISI, they started kind of importing their own morality. Not importing.
Subjecting?
Projecting.
Or projecting.
Projecting. Okay.
Yes. So they started projecting their own morality onto what, for the most part, was neutral planes and companies.
Okay, so like the mortals are coming in, and what they do is impacting ISI.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
we saw that in the Outer Planes as
Yeah.
well. Like when we talked about like Axis and Order, like things that weren't created until mortals got involved.
Yeah. So somebody might be using fire to help people. Somebody might be burning down a building, and that's kind of the elements are now having ascribed morality to them.
Okay.
And then this kind of affected the department heads. They some embraced the lobby in the public, some despised the lobby in the public, and they kind of started bickering. Where before they were in balance, they might not agree on everything, but they were able to counter each other. They started bickering. You had the good, quote unquote, department heads and the evil department heads.
Oh boy.
And the good started bickering against each other, blaming the evil ones and vice versa. And then eventually the evil ones decided ISI was no longer going to be the way it was. It needed a hostile takeover.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
This is where we lose our pensions.
Dang it.
So they ousted all of the good all the good department heads, and even shut down 2 departments altogether.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
The departments of wood and metal for eons were shut down.
Oh, I feel like I like the wood department. Dang
Yes.
it.
Yeah, that's a problem. That could be a big problem.
Yeah. And so for eons, that's how it was. People almost forgot that the good department heads or ISI used to be neutral or anything. Like they weren't there.
It just was.
It just was. Up until very recently, where the Pathfinder Society, an organization of the public in the universe,
Mm-hmm.
along with the Concordance, which is a group of kind of elemental scholars, helped free the department head of the Plane of Air, Ragnarori.
Were they imprisoned?
They were, yes.
Oh
so
my
they were
gosh.
effectively imprisoned. In this metaphor, they were kicked out of the company, and
Are we going to talk about who
They're
was
blacklisted.
considered evil and who was
Yes.
considered good?
yes.
Okay.
After that, he was able to help free the other good department heads,
Okay.
and now they are coming back to try to take back ISI that has been currently used for the
Okay.
evil department heads' wants and desires.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
So
So we're coming into the company at a time of great change.
we're kind of a crossroads. This is in current time. He was freed in 4718.
Okay.
So this was 5 years ago.
So yeah, so very recently.
Yeah, so very recently. And then since then, all of the rest of the good lords were freed since then.
Okay.
And the departments of metal and wood were reopened.
Ooh.
Okay.
They're not totally on their own floor yet. It's still kind of...
We can fix that.
Yeah, we're working on it. Okay. Today, rather than go to each floor separately, what you guys are going to do today, you're going to meet all of the elemental lords, all of the department heads.
Oh, I hate a meet and greet. They make me so nervous.
Yeah.
We're gonna get dragged around all the different heads. Okay.
Yeah, so you're gonna meet all the lords. You're gonna see the planes or see each floor, and then we're going to next time I'll give you a tour of the building,
Okay.
and then after that you guys can make your decision on
Okay.
where your consulting skills will be best used.
Okay.
Sound good?
Oh my gosh. I didn't know we were going to have to meet big important people. I'm going to have to make small talk about my resume.
I was gonna say my resume is probably not up to date. Whew.
Yeah. Interviews are the 3rd episode. I will be doing mock
Oh my
interviews.
Oh my god. I don't know if I can handle that.
Oh no. Okay, let's start on the... We're not going to talk about the universe. We're not going to talk about the lobby. You guys have...
We've been to the
We've
lobby.
been to the lobby. Instead, we're going to start on the floor above the lobby. I don't want to say the 2nd floor because I know people are listening to this not in America. And the 2nd floor,
yeah, ground floor,
Oh,
first floor.
yeah.
ground floor, 1st floor, or 1st floor, 2nd floor, depending on where you are in the country
Sure.
or in the world.
Sure.
So I'm just going to say the floor above the lobby.
Sure.
And this is the plane of air. You guys go in, and it seems pretty empty. It's a very kind of minimalistic floor.
Hmm.
Okay.
But if you think about it, technically it's very full because air is everywhere.
Sure.
Mm.
Okay.
So this is
It's
also...
a statement.
Yes. The plane of air is also kind of where the building's HVAC system is.
Okay.
So it helps kind of circulate air throughout the rest of the
It's very
of the building.
functional.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in an IKEA. Like it's wide open.
Yeah.
Minimal furniture.
Yep. Yeah. Imagine an IKEA.
Okay.
Lots of white furniture.
But that's not a bad thing. It's kind of standing on its own. It knows what it's
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have, and then the few team spaces on this floor are near the stairwells.
Do you want to explain where the team space is for us non-corporate folks?
Sorry, a team space is where a group of people might work. A work area.
Okay.
Group of desks. People sit at the desks.
That's so weird. Like, what? People working in a same space?
Yes.
I'm shocked.
But they work generally near the borders, near the stairwells, because that's where the water floor and the air floor kind of mix to make ice.
Okay.
So they have some actual structure.
Oh.
So this is where you might find a lot of settlements and stuff in the plane of air.
Okay.
Hmm.
Let's talk about the evil department head.
Ooh.
And this is Hashurha?
Hashurha?
Hashurha. And she is the Duchess of All Winds.
Well, that's a badass title.
Pretty good title.
Yeah, right? And she is kind of an enigma. Her plans are very unpredictable. She loves very intricate and labyrinthine plans that no one can predict, that defy expectations. She loves destruction and creation in equal measure. She has a reputation of cruelty. It's hard to pin her down on what her morality is.
Yeah, so you walk in and it's like, which version of this person am I going to get today?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Most air elementals work for her and worship her. And her office is called the Verglass Processional. It is a office that is made of basically invisible ice, and in this case
This
glass.
sounds super frustrating to work in.
Yes, and the walls shuffle and move. Visitors will occasionally be abandoned by their guides and just be left to wander this invisible maze.
Just walking around until you smack into something.
Or the actual general end is that the floor opens up below them and there is a lightless vortex beneath the office that they just get sucked into.
Oh boy.
Okay, maybe a little hostile for me so far.
Yeah. So in this department head, Hashura, she's a leader who's known for both starting and completing very ambitious projects one day and then scrapping them the next day. People aren't really sure what her corporate strategy is.
As someone who sometimes has really big ideas and then lacks the motivation to follow through with them when they realize how much work it is, I kind of respect that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just feel like, not today.
Yeah.
I sometimes go, yes, this is a great idea. And then the next day I go, why did I think that was a great idea? I'm going to have to spend so much time on it. Nope.
Yes. Her offices on the floor are all glass, of course.
Sure.
And she has her workers rearrange them constantly. So people are walking into walls that used to be doors. It's a rough place on her side of the floor.
It's job security, though.
But it is job security.
Wall rearranger, job security.
Wall rearranger. So let's go to the other side of the floor. The good department head is Ragnarori, or the Zephyrus Prince.
Oh,
Okay.
he sounds fancy.
He, on the other hand, when it comes to air, holds sway over the aspects that most mortals would consider beneficial, like fresh air, a nice cooling breeze, a very welcome storm. He's all about using air in its best of use cases.
I feel like he's like really attractive too. You're like, I do want to work for you. Yes, please breathe in my face. That's so nice.
Breathe in my face. I don't know. He sounds kind of pretentious to my character.
That's fair. He was the one who was initially saved, brought back to the company by the Pathfinder Society along with the Concordance of Elements. And currently he is rebuilding. He's regaining his strength, and he's forming alliances both with the public and attempting to other, different people on the planes.
Okay, so he's like on Kickstarter, like, hey.
Yeah.
Let's bring back good air.
So his office is called the Roaring Spark,
Mm.
and he's basically looking for new hires to help bring ISI back into the fold of relevance.
Okay.
As a company. He fosters a lot of relationships with the public, like I said. Along with the Pathfinder Society, the Concordance of Elements, he's also been known to work with firebrands and other moral organizations.
Okay.
So he has a lot of influence.
Lots of growth opportunity there.
Yeah. He's also kind of become a symbol of rebellion and a promise of change. He's kind of the catalyst to changing the ISI for the good, I think.
Hope and change.
Yeah.
Hope and change.
So he recently came back to the company and is looking to make some big changes.
Okay.
He's looking to get some new hires, kind of get out of the stagnation, metaphorically and literally bring a breath of fresh air to
Yeah,
the
he
company.
wants to break down those glass walls.
He's also in charge of the HVAC system.
Yeah.
He likes the AC.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Let's continue on to the next level. We go to the stairwell. We walk up. It, like I said, the borders are kind of icy because you have the water and air mixed to kind of form ice. So I'm going to hand you your breathing apparatuses as we go into our next floor.
Do you have a Leshy-sized one?
Yes.
That's cool.
Dang it.
I don't want to drown my Leshy.
Dang it.
you guys walk into the next floor. You have an airlock. And then as you open the second door, you realize it is entirely filled with water.
Oh, an aquarium.
I don't like that.
It is actually pretty amazing that that the structure can handle this much water on this
Water's
floor.
heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very amazing structural feat to hold this much water.
Okay.
Take that, dude that wants to make everything a desert.
Yeah, see, I don't know if I like this.
Yeah.
Take a long drink.
So on this floor, there are occasional pockets of water around some of the workspaces, but for the most part, if you do not have gills, you pretty much have to figure out your own oxygen supply
Okay.
if you want to work on this floor.
Okay.
So be ready for that.
Not looking promising.
We'll go, like I said, we'll go more into the specifics of the floor, but this is just kind of the general layout.
Okay.
It's all water.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's talk about the bad or evil department head on this floor. This is Kelazandri, the brackish emperor.
Brackish emperor.
Yes.
It's not a great descriptor.
He is hugely narcissistic.
Oh boy.
Well, there you go. Okay.
Yeah. He rules over all the bodies of water, both salt and fresh. And his realm and his office is called Kelazandrica.
That does sound narcissistic.
Yes.
Yeah.
He named it after himself. He also hosts a council of brine dragons.
Oh my gosh. Please tell me what a brine dragon is.
A brine dragon is basically kind of just a big sea dragon. I'd imagine kind of like a Leviathan.
Okay.
Thinking about
Okay,
it.
that's pretty cool.
And I do want to take a quick aside because I didn't talk about where all this information is coming from. The Inner Sphere, mostly we were talking about Rage of Elements, the book that just came out.
The new book.
The new book.
Yes.
So anything we talk about now in next episode will be in Rage of Elements.
Cool.
Back in. So he is kind of lazy. The plane of water has a lot of currents, and under his watch they've just kind of become still. He likes water just to be still and lazy and not.
He's a swamp.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So even when he's most idle, he's very cruel and fickle. So most of his worshippers are terrified of him. If he roams his office or roams the floor, people kind of get out of the way.
Oh no.
This is literally the boss that comes in like kicking and screaming, and you're just like, everyone hide, everyone hide.
Yeah.
It's like that scene from The Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah, it's basically
Yes.
everybody, when he's lazy, it's rough. When he's on the move, it's terrifying.
Yeah. Okay.
One of his main things is he tries to root out rebels. He demands that of his Brine Dragon subordinates. And it's actually unsure whether he realizes that the other department head is back. He's mostly been just kind of lazing around his office, so it's not sure. His subordinates are worried that the moment he does realize, he's just going to blow his top and then go crazy.
Oh gosh. Okay.
They're currently attempting to appease him by instigating some skirmishes with the
Distracting him with other things.
yes. They're trying to fight early, so maybe he won't be as mad at
Sure.
them. Kelazandri is the lazy manager who doesn't bother to lead at all right up until somebody says something that he doesn't agree with. And then he goes nuts.
Cool.
Like you said, he's kicking down stuff. He's just a
Kicking
terror of a
trash
person
can.
to
Kicking a
work with.
trash can.
Yeah.
Sounds awful.
Yeah, not a great person.
Not into it.
Nope. On the other side, you have Lysianassa.
Lysianassa.
She is the Empress of the Torrent.
Oh.
Okay.
And she created and cultivates the currents of the floor. She's the one who makes sure water is flowing in both the plane of water and in where else water lives in the universe.
Okay.
She tends to the cycles of entropy and rejuvenation and to keep the plane fresh and functioning. She works to revitalize all of the currents that her counterpart has kept stagnant. So she's now trying to work to get those currents back up.
Working overtime.
Yeah. She was the one who took the hostile takeover hardest.
Aw.
At first, she blamed herself. She spent a lot of time in regret. And then that turned into determination to make a change once she was back.
Okay.
She actually used psychic dreams and visions to those who might find a way to free her. These are called the Pearl Seeker Champions.
Ooh.
Huh.
And they were the ones who helped free her.
Okay.
Since she's been back, a lot of her old currents have become still. Old friends have become absent. And her temple has been repurposed to another kind of a mysterious deity. There's a worry that there's going to be an awoken one that comes back and causes a lot of change. Some people think it's her. She's not sure. So,
girl, don't let a man take over your stuff.
yeah. So she tends to all the cycle of changes, and she offers help to those who have been swept away.
What a kind person.
Yeah, and she moves ever forward to avoid stagnation.
She sounds exhausting for my character.
Yeah, so Lysianassa is in the corporate world as a department head. She's very interested in continuous improvement. She wants to make sure that the company is up to date on all of the processes and technology to make sure that ISI can remain competitive in this changing landscape.
She probably installed the elevators.
I like her.
Yeah, it's been too stagnant for so long. They're not going to be. They're going to get left in the dust of modern corporate age if they don't innovate.
Sure.
She's like got all the OSHA handbooks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All the procedures.
Proudly
this is what
displayed.
we do.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's continue on. We go next to the stairwell. We walk up and we open up a door to basically a tunnel.
Ooh.
This
Okay.
is the plane. This is the floor of Earth.
Do I need my rebreather here?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. You're good.
Thank you.
It's a huge earthen shell that's full of caverns and cave systems. So this floor is not open. It is very tunnely.
Okay.
The architects really outdid themselves on this very natural design.
I feel like your dude might be into this.
Let's say this might work. Yeah.
There are some main work hub spots, but because so much of the floor is covered in rock, it's possible there's many treasures and supplies still hidden.
Okay.
More tunnels are being made in
every
the
day's a
floor
treasure
every day.
hunt.
Yeah. So let's talk about Arizul, the fossilized king. Irizul?
Arizul?
Ayyrzul? Arizul?
Maybe?
Let's go
Or Irzul?
Irzul? I like Irzul.
Here's what sounds good.
Yeah. So let's talk about Irzul, the fossilized king. So after his counterparts were taken over, he didn't really change too much on the plane of Earth. He didn't really bother. It seemed instead that he had ambitions beyond his own floor.
Ooh.
He didn't give a crap about changing his own floor. He was like, what do I do for the rest of the floor?
Oh, geez.
Or rest of the
Aw.
building, and how to
He wants
get
to
more
move
power.
up. All right.
Yeah,
Ambitious.
so he
Or
seeks,
just tell everybody else what to do. Like, I'm not going to take care of my shit, but I will tell you what to do with yours.
yeah. Yeah, so he seeks total control and wants no challengers to his power. He wants to usurp Ymeri. We'll talk about her in a second. She's one of the department heads of the Floor of Fire.
Oh.
And he wants to take over as CEO of ISI.
Okay.
Oh, shoot. So, like,
Okay.
the whole thing.
Yeah,
Not a
he wants
bad
to do
person
the
to hit
whole
your
thing.
train too. Okay.
Yeah. At one point, he invaded the plane of metal and co-opted basically the idea of metal to Earth, to the plane of Earth.
Oh, yeah,
So he was
see?
like, metal's part of Earth.
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
He also co-opted their...
Sam was giving the most.
I'm just like, I'm thinking, I got too sciencey. Look, guys, I took earth sciences in college. So I'm like, well, he has a point that yes, you do find metals in the earth. And how are we going to define ore versus, like, and then I got into refinery and it got very weird in my brain there for a minute. I'm fine.
Sam herself might work in this.
It's a natural extension.
Yeah. He also used he co-opted some of the radiation of certain metals for his fortress and is really into like poisoning things.
Maybe I'm not into
I'm
that.
not quite. I'm not quite as into that part.
Yeah, he also attacked at one point the plane of wood and affected one of their deities with his poison.
Dude's been busy
Yeah, he is
Rude.
Yeah, and
doing everything but his own job.
his office
Yes.
is called the Blistering Labyrinth. It's about as rough as it sounds. As a department head, Irzul is a very toxic manager who cares nothing but ladder climbing. He
Okay.
wants to move to the fire realm above him. He wants to move to that floor, become CEO, and he will sabotage and steal from any other department if it progresses his agenda. If you have an idea, there's a chance that it's going to be
Okay.
his idea.
Okay.
He kind of sucks. And he's made a lot of enemies in the company, but he doesn't care.
I can't imagine why.
Right?
What about his behavior would make enemies?
Yes. So on the other side, you have Cyrazul.
Okay. That's
No
not confusing
relation.
at all.
Yeah. No relation. She is the crystalline queen.
Crystalline.
Crystalline
Crystalline.
queen. Sorry. She is worshipped by crystal dragons, earth elementals, and mortals who work with the earth.
Crystal dragons.
She also, like every other one, came back to the company recently. Before she was imprisoned, stories tell of her many consorts and lovers.
Oh.
Getting busy at work.
Yeah, she was very free. HR might not have approved, but I'm not sure what the HR department in ISI is. Some survived throughout the imprisonment. So if you think about how long that was,
Sure.
some survived the hostile takeover. You have a Earth Genie or a
Ooh.
Jabali, which we'll talk a little bit about next episode. Farah Abd Aziz.
Okay.
And a dragon, Riztherian. They spent millennia searching for her and have now reconnected.
Aw.
Oh, it's very okay.
Yeah. She's also spending time with Feronia, a fertility goddess on the plane of fire, and Arshay, one of the Imperial Lords.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe she's a little too busy with her lover.
She's very connected.
She loves networking.
Yep, that's what they call it.
Yep. So all children, consorts, and followers are welcome and considered family in her domain in the floor.
I feel like she's hosting a lot of potlucks too.
Yeah.
Like this is the floor that's like, we do breakfast every Friday.
Yeah, family here. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I got you all coffee this morning.
Yes. Her office is called the Emerging Facet. It's a huge organic emerald with gold veins that grows into a network of walls and rooms. And
That's pretty cool.
everyone's welcome. As a department head, she's the one that everybody wants to work for. She's very team driven. She makes sure engagement is at an all-time high. She does the potluck. She
Probably has a kickball league.
She really cares about the people who work for you or work for her, and has a great welcoming atmosphere.
Okay. I mean, I think Ryan would like that, but I don't know my character's into that.
Yeah. Okay. So as we leave the plane of Earth, we go up the stairs, and it gets starting to get a little hot.
Mhm.
Oh.
The AC doesn't seem like it's working too well.
Uh-oh.
We get to the top floor of ISI, and you see smoke coming out from underneath the door.
Oh boy.
Don't worry, it's okay. This is normal. It's not a fire. It is a fire, but it's expected.
It's an expected
It's
fire.
an expected fire. We open the door and we see the plane of fire. This floor is both a beautiful top floor filled with warmth and radiance, but it feels like they've never heard of air conditioning at all.
Okay.
Word on the street is they blocked the HVAC system from reaching up here.
That sounds right.
Okay.
Because of that, there are places with literal seas of fire. There are volcanoes a lot around, and there's, it's a very difficult place to work. So if you if you have some good fire resistance, you might enjoy it.
Okay.
First, let's talk about the CEO of ISI.
Ooh.
Oh, so the CEO is tied to a specific department?
In my mind, technically yes. They all work separately, but the fire elemental lord was kind of the first to come into existence. So in my head, he's kind of the CEO. He didn't create everything, but he's kind of there.
So this isn't like a horrible bosses where it's like, I've decided to elect myself as department head.
No. So this is Atreia, Atreia, Atreia.
Sure.
Yeah.
The Lambent King. And he was one of the first creatures across the cosmos in general to exist.
So he's an old dude.
So he's a fiery three-headed ibis.
What is an ibis?
An ibis is it's kind of like a crane. It's a big bird.
Okay.
With kind of like a long.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Egyptian kind of.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. He brought solace and a radiant glow to the entirety of the plane of fire. He answered all the prayers of his faithful and the people who made requests of ISI with a reassuring sense of serenity. He was very, very just calm and, was able to bring a sense of stability to the entirety.
Doesn't sound too bad so far. Yeah.
No. And
He
this guy's
sounds like he's like the fireplace in the middle of your house.
Yeah.
Like
calm,
structural.
comforting, sturdy.
Yeah.
Okay.
He did clash frequently with Ymeri, who is the other elemental lord, and the evil one. Atreia is the good elemental, or is the good department head. So we've been kind of going bad, good. In this case, we're starting with the good, and clashed frequently with Ymeri and the other evil department heads, but was able to kind of keep them in check, only at the expense of some, furniture and some of the planes that had some scars and stuff.
Yeah, crack a few eggs.
Yeah. After the hostile takeover, Ymeri kicked him out of CEO and kind of took over a little bit. Since he's come back, unfortunately, he has not come back at his full strength, so he's very weakened at the moment. And he's realized that what was once a very warm and kind of welcoming place in the plane and the floor has become very dangerous and inhospitable.
Okay.
So he's currently working on rebuilding his powers. He's listening to his believers, what they're saying. He's waiting. He's hoping for a powerful avatar to rise up amongst his believers to kind of become a herald.
Ooh,
to help aid him in rebuilding and making ISI what it once was.
Okay.
So as a department head and as CEO of ISI, he was kind of a grassroots CEO who really cared about all of his employees and really built it up to a nice place you'd want to work, and then got ousted, takeover, only to return years later to a company that is now toxic and full of harsh difficulties.
Trying to bring it back.
Yep. So now we have Ymeri, who's the Queen of the Inferno. She is effectively she's the other department head in fire, and she loves and finds joy in destruction.
Oh boy.
Hey.
Yeah, she
sounds great for a company.
She also destroyed all of her employment records, so as far as everybody knows, she's always worked here.
That sounds correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
No one knows when she was hired. She's just always been there. She wages a never-ending war against all who defy her.
Oh boy.
She will make trivial raids to correct her subjects. If, she will audit the crap out of people. She has a lifelong enemy in Irazul.
Sure.
Oh.
The Earth guy.
Yeah.
She has an army of Ifrits who will raid the plane of Earth.
Yikes.
She has a group of ambassadors / advisors / spies called the Tongues of Ymeri, who will basically report any and all violations to her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Her office is at the border of the plane of Earth, and it basically melts the stone into a vaporized magma. And
seems like a stressful department to work in.
Yeah. And she has ambitions to move beyond ISI and conquer other corporations.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, she was kind of successful taking over ISI, though. So.
Yeah. So, as a department head, she did lead the hostile takeover and has since ruled the company for her own purposes.
Whew.
And she is the type who will clamp down on dissent by keeping all of spies around.
Okay.
So we have two more things to talk about. We have the plane of metal and the plane of wood.
Mm-hmm.
They are not full floors yet. They had full floors in the past, but now we're opening up parts at a time.
Okay.
So it's currently growing since they've been neglected for so long, we're currently kind of building out.
Okay.
Eventually they'll have their own floor back up and running, but for now it's kind of piece and parts.
They're kind of an annex right now, but okay.
Yeah, so I held these in the last. These floors kind of surround the plane of water on either side.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more of the cycle next episode. I'm holding them to the last because they're the smallest floors, but location-wise, they're in between the air and water and water and earth, respectively.
Okay.
I think it's so the wood is in between air and water.
Mm-hmm.
Metal is between water and earth.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So the department heads here don't follow the exact same kind of good and evil necessarily, because they were kind of both ousted, right? Their entire departments were shut down, so they didn't participate in the takeover in the same way.
That was the pension. Their pensions were cut.
Goodbye.
So the first one is Faramnestra, and to say she's evil wouldn't really be a good descriptor. She's kind of more just neutral and just uncaring. She doesn't have a specific spot on the floor. She is kind of the plane of metal sweeper. She goes through and destroys kind of anything in her wake.
So she's maintenance with a cart.
Janitorial.
Yeah, she's kind of janitorial in this case. She eternally traverses the floor. She consumes the last vestiges of planar material. The plane of metal, the floor is very interesting because it's constantly shifting. Metal structures are rising and then rusting away, and it's in a constant state of decay.
Gosh, these office spaces sound exhausting to work in. When you come to work one day and your desk is rusted.
Right.
But she definitely sounds like head of maintenance.
Yeah.
So.
She kind of handles maintenance. Also on the plane of metal, there are this floor. Magnetic fields are wild, so watch out with your computers.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay,
you don't
yeah.
want to have anything wiped.
Sure.
She's followed by a host of ore lice, which are basically like these little things that feed off of kind of like remnants of rust and ore and become huge behind her.
Interesting.
So they're her like little janitorial staff that come help clean up. She's neither cruel nor aggressive. She just is.
Okay.
She has no permanent dwelling. She just kind of wanders wherever she feels needs a cleanup.
Okay.
Yeah. On the other side, we have Lauden Mio.
This is wood.
No. So this
is
is
still metal.
This is still metal. So there's still two.
Okay.
Lauden Mio is called the Sovereign of Alchemy. They rose to prominence by deities who mentored them to inherit the position of the elemental lords. So they were kind of almost groomed to be a department head.
Sure. Early identification of talent.
Yeah. And they became a very popular ruler due to their encouragement and spontaneity and self-expression. They were naturally very charming and flexible.
The young upstart.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
The area of the floor they are on is called the Euphonious Coalition. And it's celebrated metallic crafts, alchemy, and fashion.
Oh.
It's pretty cool.
Yep.
Fancy.
Lauden Mio themselves was keen to be the most eye-catching and expressive on the floor, relied on other people to tell them what was in. And so portrayals over the years varied greatly because they would just kind of change with the times of whatever was in.
They're very up on the current fashion trends, probably on TikTok.
Yeah. Yep.
Imagine like a metal golem just like scrolling on the phone.
Yeah.
This is what's in right now.
So their office was called the Castle Amalgam, and it was in the middle of a reflective lake called Everchange.
It's pretty cool.
The unfortunate part is this was before the shutdown. Since then, now that the floor is opened back up, the castle currently lies in ruins in the aftermath of the incursion by Irzul, who claimed part of the plane of metal, like we said.
Rude.
Ladinmio blames themselves for failing to repel the invaders. They kind of think that they were kind of the downfall of partially the plane of metal. And soon after the department was closed, they fell into a stasis, and they've yet to wake up. So even though metal is back, Laudinmio is not coherent at the moment, still in a stasis.
Oh man.
Yeah, like fell into a depression when you lost all your stuff.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Gosh.
So as we go to we skip past the plane of water to open up the plane of wood.
Trees.
Yeah, so
trees.
this floor is basically a forest.
So excited.
It is. We're not sure why they put it on this floor and not just like out in the gardens, but it's fine. It's very well taken care of, very vibrant, full of plant life, and it's very calming, I imagine, to work here.
Gross.
Lucy is super pumped.
Yes.
Gross.
Again, the two department heads here don't really fall into the evil good realm, but we start with Shamoonway, the carved lady of mimicry.
Oh boy.
She was actually not native to this floor. We're not exactly sure where she came from.
Did she also burn her HR records?
No. Some say she's a product of a Kodama, which is a type of outsider created to protect trees, and a Kizadar wizard. Kizadars are the genies who live on the plane of wood.
Oh,
okay.
Who traveled to her plane.
So she came in with good references.
Yeah,
She had great. She had a great resume. And before she arrived, the plane of wood was very diverse and cultivated, but everything was still. It was all very...
that makes sense. Okay.
Didn't have any life. She established the Court of Transcendence and taught the flowers and leaves to mimic animals.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so now like she started creating like herds of wooden deer and cranes and bats and all these things that started propagating. And so soon the floor, which was once very still and lifeless, kind of resembled other planes beyond the borders with
wooden deer and wooden
stuff. Yeah.
Hmm.
She rules over no specific land or organization, but she dedicates herself to the act of creation. She's all about, she takes requests from close groups of confidants on behalf of others in need, And she is the one who was blighted by Irzul's poison.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So then we have Veralorn, and he is the custodian of Oak and Ash. I'm going to explain how they work as department heads in a minute, but he's a gardener first and foremost. He believes gardeners should be orderly and exact above all else.
Okay. Not a bad take.
Yeah, he knows when a sprout will form into wood so precisely that even deities who are over time take note and inspiration from his timeliness.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. He's very quiet and taciturn. He has very few confidants and fewer friends. He's kind of a loner.
Loner gardener.
Yeah.
Not super approachable.
Sure.
Yeah. When it comes to the floor, he stays constantly vigilant and listens through endless networks of bamboo tubes to hear whispers all across the plane.
Oh man, don't talk bad about him in the break room.
He uses it as a form of order. He didn't always used to be this way. Before the shutdown, he used to cultivate life as a free spirit, with Shamoonway.
Mm-hmm.
Aw.
Only after he and Shamoonway chose to sever and shut down their department themselves to protect it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So they didn't get shut down in the same sense that they disappeared. They chose to shut it down.
Interesting.
But because of that, and they lost all the kind of cycle of energy, a lot of their people died. So because of
I
that,
feel bad for him now.
yeah, he said he would never again let wild and chaotic gardens bring harm to his people.
Oh my gosh, so he's out here like, I
Devastating.
will only make hedge mazes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So he's currently estranged from his other department head. They don't talk.
I want to give him a hug.
Yeah. He both wants to reach out to Shamoonway to create again like they used to in the past, but he's worried if they do, he will break. Because he's just been so...
Buddy.
Yeah. With the department open again, he's currently trying to monitor what's happening, the power that's kind of infusing it now that it's connected back to the cycle.
Sure.
He's trying to make sure that it all is balanced.
Hmm.
So in the corporation of ISI, this was a partnership that worked fantastically together right up until the takeover, where they decided to take their work and kind of split off into their own startup. And then they've recently become reabsorbed into the company and aren't sure how to take it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, the plane is gross.
Rude.
That is our quick introduction to all of the different department heads. Like I said, next time I'll give you a tour of the building. You saw each plane a little bit, but next week we'll go a little bit deeper and kind of point out some good highlights of what's going on each floor, and then you can decide. Do you have any leanings at the moment?
I really liked Potluck Lady on the earth floor.
Yeah.
That seemed like a really nice and like welcoming place to be. And then I think Shamoonway also sounded very cool because, I like that she's making plants that look like animals. That sounds legit.
That's fair.
My Leshy is very excited about this.
I mean, Irizal sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then Ymiri seems like she gets stuff done. She makes her actions known.
Yikes.
I like that you guys picked very different characters. That
Hilariously, we picked very similar
I
builds.
say they're very close, but also completely different.
Yeah. So cool. Yeah. So that's all I got for this episode. Like I said, next week we'll dive more into the inner sphere, and then we'll also talk about some of the planes we didn't talk about, like Creation's Forge, the Void, the Nether World.
Would you call those like in our corporate company metaphor here? Would those be separate corporations?
So in my head, the Netherworld, or what used to be the Shadow Plane, is kind of the basement of the lobby.
Okay.
It's below the lobby, and it really mimics the lobby, but it's for people who don't like light.
All right.
Sure.
So we're still in the same structure.
Yeah, still in the same structure. Creation's Forge in my mind is the power supply. Kind of where all the energy for the entire plane gets.
All the other ancillary features.
And the Void is the kind of like the trash compactor of the that's where things
I like it.
Yeah, end out. So yeah, like I said, we will pick it up next time, and we'll see where the two consultants as planar consultants will end up. But in the meantime, if you are enjoying the podcast, feel free to tell your friends. Let them know about us. If you want to reach out, you can do so via Instagram at Tabletop Travel Guide, or shoot us an email at tabletoptravelguidepodcast@gmail.com. We'll post pictures and whatnot on our Instagram and our website, tabletoptravelguide.com. I think that's it.
That's it. Well, thanks, Tyler.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Excited to be on this corporate journey and
So excited to be a corporate cog. Woo!
Can't wait to be a cog in the machine.
cool. Well, until next time, safe synergy.
Aww.